Right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content on info@millenniumnews24.com. Download the Millennium News 24 app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Stay tuned with Millennium TV and Millennium News 24 for the latest updates.
Good afternoon and welcome to the New American Perspective. I'm your host, Jineea Butler, and today's conversation is not casual. It is necessary. This is your New American Perspective. Today, January 21st, 2026, people. We're almost out of February. What happened? Yesterday was the new year. Today is February 1st. Well, let's say January 21st, but I'm happy to see you. I missed you. Did you miss me? So let's get right into it today because we have some great guests. Shout out to Mother Mozella Butler. AB is by her side in the rehab, getting her back on her feet. She's 90 years young. We need your prayers from around the world, and we believe that they're going to come true. So we are living in a moment where history is no longer something we study. It's something we are reliving, redefining, and responding to in real time. From the legacy of the Black political movements to global power plays being debated in Congress to what many are calling an unprecedented federal posture in Minnesota, today we are asking one question: who defines power and who is it protected by? So, joining me, as always, is my brother, my cousin, my co-host, the voice of the ground of truth and cultural memory, AB Hip Hop. AB Butler, and we are the Butler Gang. So AB will be on with us soon. And that's the thing. History doesn't actually repeat itself quietly. We've been here before. We've been in this place before, people. So let's not act like this is all new, that this is something to be scared of. This too shall pass, okay? And let me say that again. This too shall pass. And in the process of this, in the process of this passing, when communities feel unprotected, when federal power was seen as aggressive rather than supportive, when people organize not for chaos but for survival, which brings us directly to the Black Panther Party. Okay, now we got a Black Panther Party that's different today. Don't get me wrong, okay? Because we got to get into this, people, and I want to know how you think. So tune in, tap in, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on this, because I really want to figure out where things are and how do you truly feel about what's happening and what's going on. So if you've been somewhere around the world and you're not tuned in here in America, you will see that the Black Panther Party for self-defense, which is not the original Black Panther Party, has popped up with a young man named Paul Birdsong. I think that's what it is. Paul Birdsong. So Paul is out pressing up against, telling ICE that when you come to Philadelphia, when you come to Baltimore, you are going to be met with the Black Panther Party for self-defense, okay? And so he's out there with the gun. You run up, and with this time we're aggressive, this time we're this not. Well, this has gotten everybody up in arms and crazy, okay? This has got everybody kind of like, who are these people? And me too, because he needs to immediately stand down, because this is not our perspective, President Trump. Now, we've got these copycats and we've got people that feel like they got to stand up, but please don't use the Black Panther Party for that, because it just drums up too much stuff. And, even Chairman Fred Hampton's son, he was killed in Chicago, spoke out and said, listen, the CIA came in my house and killed my father. So this is not something to play with. Okay, that's one. Okay, that's one. That's two. Okay, so Fred Hampton Jr. said, we don't know them. Then Huey P. Newton's niece taps in and she says, listen, Bo, do not, I'm about to sue you. You're about to go cease and desist because do not try to use the Black Panthers of the past for this struggle today. Then a national chairman, did you guys even know that all this was going on? Because I didn't even know all this was going on. So then the national chairman jumps out and he says, listen, a common enemy is not a common enemy. Don't mean we got common problems. Okay, so he disassociated and he says, listen, we're for the Black folks, and these people didn't jump up and get with us when everybody else was getting killed. So please don't use us and involve us. And I want to say this is a dangerous thing that this young man is doing. Now we find out that he wanted to be a member of the Bloods. He wanted to be a hip hop star. He wanted to be all this thing, this Paul Birdson. Okay. He wanted to be all these things outside of the Black Panthers, but it's the conditions that created them. So when communities feel over-policed and overprotective, organization is inevitable. Okay, so this is a common response that we've seen amongst people, right? So this is definitely a common response, but is it for us? And do we want to bring this kind of energy towards us? Now, I'm a loss for words. And let me tell you why I'm lost for words. It's because all of these people who migrated from these different countries, and I'm talking about not the people who've been here for 27 years, not the one-offs that got here, got on a plane and overstayed their visa, not those people, right? They decided, all of these people in some way or another have decided to live in this country illegally. Now, some people say that's better. You're not on a Social Security, but you can't get in any trouble, right? Because if you get into trouble, you're going straight to jail if you get in trouble. So now these people have abused our system. And I think that we need to put in perspective what is really happening, because I feel as though that these people have abused our system. Okay. Now, I feel like the ICE officers need to be a little bit more empathetic in how they're going about the stuff, but they're under hostile work conditions at this point. So what is it that they're supposed to do in the process, right? Because I feel like there's craziness. AB is in the back. Can you bring him up? So I feel like they are crazy conditions going on and everything like that. So now the Black Panthers, as we know them, okay, the Black Panthers are not the Black Panthers of today. So now we've got some man that's coming out of Philadelphia or Baltimore, and he's talking major Black Panther stuff. He's like, once the ICE get here in Philadelphia, are you calling the violence? And is that violence going to translate? How is that going to translate to us? How is that going to translate in our communities? Because we have people in our communities, people that are illegal in our communities. We have people who are on warrant in our communities. And when you start these people knocking on our doors, right? When you start opening up these chapters in our community, when we're not ready to handle it, so you are asking for them to unite this war against us as well. Now, this is the one time in this country that this doesn't really have anything to do with us. And our citizenship is a birthright and it is valid in this country. So I don't know that that's what we want to do. So I stand with everybody that's like, listen, brother man, we don't know who you are. We don't know what it's hitting for out here. Okay. So settle down. Okay. That's what I'm saying. And so now today, we also see President Trump, a UK official, said today that look, President Trump is running around like an international gangster. Now, if we go to the clip, back in 2016, your girl, yes me, on Comedy Central said that President Trump was a gangster. I told it right from the beginning. Like, he's a gangster. He's a gangster. We'll see. You'll see the whole clip. Okay. So yes, I called him a gangster back in 2016, 10 years ago. He is a gangster, and now his team got him running around like an international gangster because he's talking about taking out Greenland. Okay? So Greenland is the biggest island in the world. Okay? So Greenland, we know, is very icy, very cold. It's up by the North Pole. It's the furthest north island up there, and US and Denmark have been using Greenland because China and Russia have been trying to use Greenland. So that's the real gist on this. Okay? President Trump is posturing towards China and Russia. And now he thought that he could go and say, well, we're just going to go ahead and buy Greenland. They'll be a lot better under the US. Greenland saying, no, 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 no. We don't want any, okay? Greenland is not for sale. The prime minister there said, listen, Trump, Greenland is not for sale. Now, in the past, Greenland has helped us and has been a base for ships. Now, did any of you ever play Sink My Battleship? I forget, Battlestar Galactica. I forget the exact name of it. I'm going to get it in a second. But did any of you play Did You Sunk My Battleship? Right? Because now I realize that's what we were doing. You had the little pegs and you put the little pegs in the little holes and everything like that, right? So you had the little pegs, you put the little pegs in the holes, and you moved around. So that's what's happening now in the US with the ships. Now, some of you may be way too young for that, but those of us who played that game, they were setting us up for this time, because now when we're 50 plus, 40, whatever, we now see what that meant, because now we see the ships around Greenland and everybody creeping around. And so I'm not going to say that there may be a world war going on. I can't even say it. World War III. We don't want to see that, President Trump. Okay, so stand down. He's getting a little drunk with power, but I'm trusting that he's just posturing and that his word is his word, because most of the time he has kept his word. He said he was coming for the immigrants, people. We knew he was coming for the immigrants. So my question to you all before we go to break and we invite our friends on, AB is in the back, and we have Scott Pruitt from Get Hip Hop, and we have a lot to talk about there because we can make some money. But before we go to break, let me ask you, is this what we want to be doing? What do you want to do? Where are you at in the world, and how does this affect you? Right? Popped in. Hello. Can we fix that? Hello. Fix your face, sir. This is our illustrious guest, Scott Pruitt. Let me go like this, Scott Pruitt. And excuse me, fix your face, Dr. Butler. We have a guest. Hello.
I'm here.
Okay. So
Don't forget, you telling me to fix my face. And my mom's got colon cancer, so you want me to
yeah,
fix
so
my
either
face on
people,
that?
you gotta
Okay.
be on. You gotta be on.
Hey, I'm
God
on.
got this. God got this. Okay. So there is none of that, sir. We already said our prayer on here. So now we have an illustrious guest, Dr. Scott Pruitt. I'm going to call you Dr. Scott. But we're going to go to a break really quick, and we're going to come back here with Scott Pruitt of Get Hip Hop. And Scott, I hope you were up on your U.S. news because we got a lot to talk about today. So we will be right back.
Hello viewers, you are watching Millennium News 24. America and global villages seen America independence built by immigrants, manufacturers, roads, highways, educations, healthcare, IT, scientists, space, business development to all thousands of multimedia and all major social media platforms and news network in America. Millennium News 24, one of truthfully news networks in America and global news organizations. Please watch, follow and subscribe. We are in iOS and Android devices, Roku, Amazon, Apple devices, all smart TV, globally Horizon satellite, social media Millennium News 24, Millennium TV 24. Website www.millenniumnews24.com and www.millenniumtv24.com. Thank you.
We're back here on Millennium News 24. I'm your host, Jineea Butler, and this is my co-host,
A.B. Butler.
I'm saying I'm doing the point in the wrong way. And we have a special guest today. We are the Butler Gang, Scott, if you didn't know about us. And this is
now you do.
This is the New American Perspective. So, Scott, jump right in and tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Get Hip Hop.
Sure thing. My background is in the domain name industry. So, and this goes all the way back to the 90s when people first started registering domain names. It didn't take long for people to find out that they had value. Remember, there was a period of time when people were doing things called cyber squatting, where they were taking trademark names and registering them as .coms. But there were also some non-trademark names like Wall Street and others that had just value in and of themselves because they were generic and they described something very broad. And some of those names have sold for over $1 million. So I was involved with a lot of the auction platforms that were associated with selling these names to investors. And so that's how I kind of got into the domain business. And it started even before that with search engine optimization because domain names show up on search, right? So if you did a search for, again, Wall Street and wallstreet.com was a name that you own, wallstreet.com is going to be one of your first search results. So there was a certain value in search that came with the domain name too. Mm-hmm. So fast forward, I connected with another pioneer in the industry, Monty Khan. We worked on doing these auctions for a while, and an opportunity came along for us to acquire the extension for .hip hop. So just like there's a .com, there's a .net, there's a .org, there's also .hip hop, there's .pizza, there's .lawyer, there's .nyc. So there's a lot of these different extensions out there, and people are really not that aware of them as of yet, but there is some adoption, especially with NYC. If you've been in New York and you've been in Times Square, you've seen domain names on buses, up on the, the jumbotrons and things like that that say something.nyc. So that adoption has grown, and so we manage that top-level domain extension .hip hop. We took it over about 5 years ago, and we're now in the process of really rolling it out. And we're doing two things. We're raising funds and giving ownership of the company directly to the community. Unlike some fundraisers where you go after venture capital and angel investors and things like that, we're doing an equity crowd fund. So we're opening it up for as little as $250. You can jump in and own part of the .hip hop company, which is designed to empower the hip hop community and culture by giving them an address and a name that they can use to further their business interests or their art or whatever it is, if it relates to hip hop. If you identify with hip hop, then you should have a .hip hop domain name. Whether you're an artist, DJ, fashion designer, break dancer, it doesn't matter. There's just or a fan even. You want to have a fan site, have a .hip hop fan site. So that's what we're doing.
So what has in introducing .hip hop, right? What has been some of the hurdles, and how can people really open this up? And because we're teaming up with .hip hop, and if you want, don't send it to Scott, send it to me first. If you want, right? If we want, we're teaming up with .hip hop, with our hip hop union and our network. So everybody that's tuning in, I need you to get a .hip hop. We have a .hip hop for the insurance site, and it's New American Life .hip hop. And so, Scott, what are some of the hurdles that you faced, or some of the things that people don't understand when it comes to the .hip hop? And then I'll let ABG check the situation.
Sure. I think a lot of it is more with the younger generation in the hip hop community, because they were raised on social media and didn't really see what all evolved with domain names and websites that happened between the 90s and the early 2000s. Understand?
You're cutting up, Scott. Can you hear me? Something.
Keep checking it.
Hold on.
His phone keep going in and out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're back. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So again, adoption. I think, particularly among the young, they are used to just being on Instagram or whatever social media platforms that they use, TikTok and whatever, and don't realize that behind all that is a website, right? So, Instagram isn't just Instagram. It's not just an app on your phone. It's Instagram.com. Facebook isn't just an app. It's Facebook.com. It's tied to a website, right? And that .com is the what's used for the address so that you can find it. So where people don't realize they're not as empowered with social media, because you don't own what you put on social media, right? So it's Meta, which is Zuckerberg who owns that, or if it's on X, it's Elon Musk. They own all the content that's on there. And when it comes to promoting yourself online, they really control what gets seen and what doesn't. And for example, you want yourself to stand out. Well, you need to get a verified stamp, a little check mark on your account that says you really are legit, right? Well, you pay, I think, what is it, $14 a month or something like that for that, just to be able to say you're legit. Okay, now say over the course of time, you've accumulated 10,000 followers, and you want to post something that you want all your followers to know about. So you put out a post. Do you think all those 10,000 people see it? They do not, right? An algorithm determines what's relevant and what they should or shouldn't see. And they'll also turn around and say, well, we can increase the size of your audience and who sees your content if you pay for advertising and boost that post, right? Well, you can do that if you own Facebook.com or you own Instagram.com, right? Well, if you own Jineea Butler.hip hop, okay, now whoever comes to your site, you own their information, right? So now you say, hey, welcome to my website. Sign up for my newsletter, right? That's something as simple as that. You get their email address. Now, when you want to send something out, it goes out to everybody on your email address list. Or put your phone number in here. We'll send you a text when we have an upcoming event or a new music drop or whatever. And everybody on your list gets that, not just a few, and not have to pay extra premiums in order to get them in front of people. So that's the power of owning a domain name, because you can build a website. And even if you don't build a website, it's great for branding. You could be Jineea Butler.hip-hop and still have it, just point that name to your Instagram page,
right,
or to a tree, or something as simple as that, and then grow into a website later on.
Mhm.
So that's where the power really comes from. It's owning your data, and it's owning your audience.
Deep. Cousin?
Yes, sir. G checking it. You're 100% right because I am www.bitgent.com. That's back in the game entertainment.com. That's me. I got a website. It's coming. So
But we're
yeah.
switching it to dot hip hop. That's what he meant to say, Scott.
Well, yeah,
Really?
again, it's
Okay.
all about branding, right? Nobody knows what .com even means anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
It actually has a meaning. It's
It's
commerce. It
right.
used,
That's what I was
just
saying.
like .edu was education, .net was network,
Mhm.
info is information, org
So,
is organization.
so cousin, the G check is here. Where can the artists, because what he's saying is that, all the artists that we've got in our circumference, right? They work with DigiWax. Shout out to CL DigiWax and Jineea, who have been pushing the new music Wednesdays that's happening this evening. If you're going in, they got French Montana and Max B coming through, and so all the artists that can benefit from the dot hip hops, right? That's what this is about. So how do you see that working in the process, cousin?
Well, I think as Pete, or was the question to me or was it to
It was to
AV?
him.
Okay, sorry.
But
Okay.
then you can answer that directly.
This is the G check. First of all, we got to get the artists to communicate with one another and understand what it means, where they feel that they benefit off it, not everybody else from the outside. Because hip hop, we created, but hip hop, we don't own nothing. Nothing. Everybody else that never started hip hop, couldn't stand hip hop, thought it wasn't going this far. But now they got the rope around it. So now the G check is with www.hiphop.com. How can we as a community get a part of it and know that we part ownership? That's the G check.
Right.
Yeah,
And so remember, it's dot hip hop. So you take off the .com because
right.
it's no longer .com. We have our own end name. So you know how you have like .edu, you got .gov, you got .nyc. It's dot hip hop. So people in the hip hop community, we can now globally. Now we're talking global now, right? Right, Scott? Globally can connect, and we can be just like when you have georgetown.edu at the end, that's an official education department piece. Just like when you have anything nyc.gov, that's an official piece. And now we have dot hip hop, which gives us that piece too. So go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, so it's there's two ways you can have ownership. I mean, there's ownership in the company itself, which is something that we're offering. And for information on that, I would direct people to go to invest.hiphop. I'm sorry, invest in.hiphop. And you go to that website, and there's an opportunity there for a minimal amount of money to come in and own part of that company, right? So there's that part of the ownership. Then the second part of the ownership is owning the names as part of the culture, right? And representing the culture by using a .hip hop name instead of a .com or a .net or a .info or one of these other extensions. One of the things that happened early on with the .com boom was, you register a name and it doesn't cost that much, maybe $10, $15 a year to register a domain name. But there was a land rush, and people came in and bought up all these .coms, especially the ones that represented a good subject of some kind, a dictionary term or whatever. There's tens of millions of domain names in .coms that are registered today.
Mm-hmm.
There's only under 2,000 .hip hop domain names registered right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that means there's a lot of good names out there. There's
Mm,
some real winners. I mean, and they're category killers like dance.hip-hop,
mm,
graffiti.hip-hop,
mm,
you
mm,
know, trap.hip-hop. I mean, you can go all these different things and think about building a website off of that and building a community out of it. Or
mm,
again, if you're an artist, you can just say like Jineea.hip-hop. That becomes your hub for all
mm.
your information. That's where your concert information is. That's where you can download music or you can link to any of the streaming services. And if you're dialed into like blockchain technology, you can even take your music and say, I'm only making 10 copies of this song, and it's on blockchain, and the only place you can get it is from me, from my website.
Hold that thought really quick, Scott. We're going to go to a break and we're going to come right back here on Millennium News 24 with the New American Perspective, with my co-host AB Butler, with the G Check, and with Scott Pruitt of Hip Hop. So get Hip Hop now. So go ahead and log in and we'll be right back.
Welcome to Millennium News 24, your trusted source for accurate, unbiased news. We're here to bring you the stories that matter most from America and around the world with integrity and a commitment to truth. In today's world, where misinformation can easily spread, having access to reliable news is more important than ever. At Millennium News 24, we aim to cut through the noise by delivering clear, fact-based reporting. Whether you're following major events or looking for in-depth analysis, we are here to serve you with transparency and respect for all communities regardless of color, wealth, or religion. This beautiful America was built by the resilience of its people, immigrants, entrepreneurs, doctors, and everyday individuals working together to create something great. It's this spirit that inspires us to provide you with news that's inclusive, honest, and relevant. We believe that informed citizens are the foundation of a strong society, and we strive to give you the knowledge you need to make a difference. From breaking news to insightful features, we bring you comprehensive coverage on politics, economics, health, culture, and much more. We believe that everyone deserves access to the truth, and we are proud to be a part of a global network that connects people through information. Stay informed by following us on your devices, including iOS, Android, Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, and Smart TVS. And for global access, we're also available on Horizon Satellite. Visit us at www.millenniumtv24.com or www.millenniumnews24.com to stay updated at Millennium News 24. Our mission is to promote unity, understanding, and progress in a rapidly changing world. Join us as we work to inspire positive action through the power of truth. Thank you for watching. Follow us, subscribe, and stay informed.
And we are back.
Here on Millennium News 24. This is your host, Jineea Butler, and that is my co-host,
AB Butler,
and
back
we
in the
are
game entertainment.
and we are the Butler gang, okay? He's back in the game, you know.
Yes, I am.
He's back in the game. He'll be back in the game. Hip hop in a second, Scott. Don't worry. But so anyway, so tell us more about what we could do, because I was talking to a Jineea and I was saying, Jineea, listen, what the Hip Hop Union and what our goal right now with our urban reset is to really take this up 10 notches. And Jineea said we can make this money through the investment of hip hop. So I know that there's investments as little as $250. Now, break down for the layman, Scott, how that really processes, because once we own this, and you're saying like, you know, like the .com boom, right? And so you have all these names, and so you own yourself. But once you become a partner and an investor in hip hop, how does that really translate into real money and a real investment for the community that can help sustain the community?
Sure. Well, you know, the company is very small right now. Okay. there's literally 4 of us that are running this entire company. And we've been running it on a shoestring, but now we want to expand out. And in order to do that, we need to raise funds so we can do additional marketing.
Mhm.
I mentioned that, we've got under 2,000 registrations right now. Typical, I mean, like I said, the .com, you have tens of millions of registrations. So the registry for .com, it's a company you probably never heard of. It's called VeriSign.
Mhm.
Let's just assume that
Mhm.
VeriSign gets, $5 or of every registration.
Mhm.
Well, that's, multiply that times tens of millions. That's hundreds of millions of dollars a year in recurring revenue,
Mhm.
right? So this has the potential to become a cash cow if
Mhm.
the community embraces it.
Right.
By that, I mean by registering their names and by
Mhm.
investing. If you invest in it, there's a growth potential. And if you register your name, you're supporting the community. And part of our philosophy is that we want to give back to the community. So as we become profitable, we want to support, charities and other organizations that are helping to elevate people, right, and empower people. Um, the Hip Hop Union is a perfect example of something like that, as you're
Mhm.
trying to help
Mhm.
people who were left behind
Mhm.
by the boom of hip hop, right? They
Mhm.
they they delivered all the content and created all this wonderful music and everything, and now who made off with all the money?
Mm.
The record labels did, right?
Mhm.
So and now everything's gone streaming, and there's no money left because you're making as an artist you're making pennies.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, if you had a regular 9 to 5, typical type job, it comes with a benefits package, it comes with insurance, it comes with a pension, a 401k, and things like that. Well, a lot of these guys, they had stars in their eyes, and they got a big check right in the beginning, 100k or whatever, and they thought, man, I'm set for life. And now 20, 30 years later, they're in poverty.
Right.
They don't. A lot of them don't have any of those benefits. They don't have their own health insurance. So
Mhm.
we want to be able to do things that elevate people and elevate the hip hop community to empower them, and that's what we feel
Sure.
a hip hop name does. Is it empowers you? It
Mhm.
empowers you if you invest because there's a potential upside to make more money, and also there's the potential to give back to the community based on the profits that the company produces.
Mhm. So, AB, talk to us about, people getting, taken for their money 30 years later and just not having anything and the benefits of what Scott is talking about.
So let me check this, right? So you gotta remember hip hop started for the love of music outside the park. Then once upon a time it was nothing but it was about eating, supporting your family. Then it became into corporate America with the veins and just took the blood out of the black community, what they created. So it's really hard for everybody else is taking advantage of hip hop and they making billions and billions and trillions of dollars off it. And they always say, we're gonna give back. We never see none of that. That's why it's always the head people of the labels, they want to put in the killing. It's no more PE. It's no more the brand new wins. It's no more the Jungle Brothers. It's the way it is. It's like the industry went into a program turning hip hop into a robot, but trying to break it down. But it's really going to be hard to do that because you got iHeartRadio. They run everything. So it's no more radios out here. Yeah, they play music, but there's no more radio playing different music. Every station you turn to, it sounds the same. It sounds the same. And I understand corporate, but it got to come back to the jockeys got control of the music, the DJs got control of the music, and not just keep playing the same thing over and over and over again. Like me, I got the hottest young artists right now, Trees Da Vinci and Sarah, the artists. But at the end of the day, it's like you really can't get nothing done on the radio because what? The radio feel that, oh, the labels is not feeding them. They don't want to play them. And then the disc jockey they don't break no more records. Only thing you hear, if you listen to most radio stations, we can say, oh, we're going to play new music, but the new music is Drake, Lil Wayne,
Right.
the rest of them. It's no new music where you might hear a new music sound is the same artist, but you're not breaking new artists. So if we got to come back to a point where I the bloodsuckers, we got to get to them and understand and let the disc jockeys be the disc jockeys and go back into play the music, not the machine where it's all about the money and let me just suck the life out of everybody else.
Well,
Yeah, you go, yeah. Mhm.
Well, what Scott is saying is that we, with Dot Hip Hop, we have an opportunity to recreate. We have an opportunity to reset and to say to the bloodsuckers, we're not letting you bloodsuck us anymore. To say to the Instagrams, we're not letting you get all of the billions of dollars that are coming in from owning our content and owning whether we're going to be a star or not. The X's and the Facebooks and everything like that, that now we can create that similar platform. And, Scott, I'm really hoping, and I know that through my pipeline, what I'm going to pipeline is people that are really just like the .edu, that you can't get a .edu unless you're really .hip hop. You understand? And I would like to see it happen like that because we have done so much work across the board in bringing hip hop to this point of hip hop into the point of thinking of ownership, hip hop of a point of getting robbed, like AB was saying, over the years, and now having a place. 2026 is the year of the urban reset, and we have to take this so seriously because we're in tumultuous times to where anything could happen. So we've, like, when you talk about the Brand Nubians, when you talk about the Jungle Brothers and what their plan is, and this is why we put insurance in place. This is why we put all those other things in place. And then the .hip hop really solidifies us because it really separates us from everybody else. Again, the education people, they got their thing. The government people, they got their thing. The .coms, the commerces, and they're supposed to be selling all kinds of stuff. But now we have our own lane and we have to respect it. Despite the four-man team, we've got $684 billion worth of capital that we spend in other places that we now have to anchor down. Because what if, AB, when you started out in hip hop, you could have said, listen, I'm gonna take $250 and invest it into this hip hop thing that we got going, and then now get a return on your investment today. Then you wouldn't be talking about iHeart because all they did was they saw it and they outsmarted us on it. And so what Scott is saying is that this is an open platform for the community and for the community to get involved. And now they're saying, listen, we secured some money for us. Now we can all work together to get it. Am I right, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't say it better myself. So,
well, that's
yeah.
wonderful. So it was great to have you with us. So tell us more about how you can get in, how we can get into .hip hop and all the great things, because it was great to have you today and we want to have you back, and we'll start pushing the .hip hops here on the New American Perspective. So tell us how we can get involved.
To register a .hip hop name, you can do that at any registrar. Okay, and registrars are the portals where you go in to buy domain names, and oftentimes they don't even advertise themselves that way anymore. It's more about building a website, right? So like your GoDaddies, for example, they're going to be, when you come to them, the domain name's just almost like an incidental to them, right? The .com, whatever it is, they almost give them away so that they can get you buying their products, which is the site builder, having your own cash register and, being able to transact over the online and that kind of thing. So, but any of those registrars, you can register a .hip hop domain name. We're in like 85% of all the registrars, including all the big ones like GoDaddy, Name.com. The one that we work with the most is Porkbun. It's porkbun.com. And the reason we do that is because they have really some of the best pricing. They're very transparent in the way they do business. And it's easy to use their site. And they also offer a very inexpensive Linktree-like product that allows you to build your own Linktree. It's not a Linktree brand, but it's a Linktree-like site where you basically have, it looks good on a phone and it looks good on a site, and you put all your links to your social media and your music and whatever. And that's only like $3 a month. The name itself at Porkbun is like $21 a year. At GoDaddy, it's like $49. Right? So that's why we recommend doing it there. But you can learn more about .hip hop at get.hiphop. You just type that in a browser window or in a search, get.hip hop. It'll take you right to
and
our
you're
website.
saying get with the dot and then the hip hop, right?
Yeah, not spelled out. It's get.hip hop. And then the investment opportunity you're going to see at investin.hip hop. And that's where you'll have an opportunity to make, the minimum investment is $250. You can obviously make more. But we're seeking to raise like $10 million or no, $1.2 million to do the initial raise. And, there might be one after that. We don't know. But that $1 million is basically going to fund building infrastructure and additional marketing so we can get the word out. And we're getting the word out. It's just been more organic, kind of like the way hip hop itself is, right?
Yeah,
it's,
sure.
we're working with CL and DigiWax, and we're working with a huge pool of DJs and getting our name out there every week with New Music Wednesdays and with the DJ calls that CL does. So, and we'd like to see those DJs empowered like they were back in the day, where they could break records, they could break music, and people would hear it on the radio and go, damn, that's good music.
Hey Scott, let me G-check something. So who's all the owners?
The owners are Jenny Watson, who Jineea. Myself, I own a minority stake in the company. And then there's Monty Khan, who is the domain, pioneer from the going way back. You can look him up online, and there's all kinds of stuff about the things that he's accomplished as a domain investor and company. He's owned registrars, he's built registrars, he developed the auction systems, he invented domain privacy. So when you looked up a domain name, if you didn't want people to know who owned it, you could anonymize your information. Yeah, he created that. And then our other partner is Jeff Newman, who is on he's on part of the ICANN infrastructure, which ICANN is the governmental organization that oversees the internet. And the
AB,
So this is the G check.
Hold on. A Jineea from the New Music Wednesdays, AB.
Okay. But this is the G check. Now all them names you name, guess what? You got Jineea Butler. You got AB Butler. So now, you know what I mean? You'll put stakes in our name, and we do what we do for you. How about that?
Yeah, I would love it.
That's a G check.
And we want the community to
We
set
are the
direction for the
community. We are
company.
the community.
Yeah,
We are.
That's why he's working with us, sir.
but we do. We want the community to direct where our company goes. That's
Mhm.
why we haven't opened it up right now to, the big money that's out
Right.
there. There's big money that can love to just come in here and buy us out, and take it and make this, corporate monstrosity out of it.
But
And
guess what?
that's not what we want. We want to empower the community, and part of that is by ownership, and part of it is by, just getting the names out there so people can use them and empower themselves and free themselves from the shackles of social media and corporate ownership.
Yes.
So the G check is we are the corporate America, me and Jineea Butler. So you go ahead and put our names on the list of names you name and watch the difference. That's a G check.
That's a G check. So, Scott, thank you so much for joining us today. I look forward to talking with you more and building with you more and
Yeah.
to coming back on the show and say what we have manifest in 2026. Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Sure. Absolutely. So we are going to continue our conversation. And Scott, you can say if you want, because I don't know if you want to talk politics, Scott, but you could stay and talk about what's going on. Do you feel anything about what is happening today in Minnesota and Donald Trump going after Greenland?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to Greenland, it's not. It's been kind of spun as, he's like on some kind of power trip, and he's trying to take over the world. He's trying to take over Venezuela. He's trying to take over Greenland. The next thing you know, he's going to take over Mexico and Canada too, right? And I think a lot of that is just flourish. But the United States over its history has expanded, and it's done so by purchases. It's done so by treaties. We bought the Louisiana Purchase from France. We bought, we settled with Mexico and ended up taking up 500,000 square miles of territory. We
Right.
bought Alaska from Russia, right? So there's a precedent to it, and the United States interest in Greenland goes back a long ways. It's not. It didn't just pop up out of nowhere.
That's right.
It's been there for a long time for a lot of different reasons, and now, there's strategic interest, and the way Trump's manner of how he comes across and says, we're just going to take it. That doesn't mean he's going to like send up a troop ship and forcibly annex Greenland. That's just flourish, I think. But I think it wouldn't be bad necessarily for the people of Greenland to get American citizenship and get a huge check, because I mean, we'd end up buying it. Ultimately, that would be what the deal would be. We'd buy it from Denmark and from the Greenlanders themselves. So they would make money off of it. They'd be able to maybe exploit some of their natural resources more efficiently than they are currently with Denmark running things. So, but it's ultimately up to the people of Greenland to decide if they want to do it or not. And if they decide they don't want to, well, then that's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah, well, they've been out protesting because they one of the UK officials said, "Listen, President Trump is running around here like an international gangster. He's been hanging out with the Butler gang, cousin, okay? Because he is out here running the streets." And I said back in 2016, when I originally endorsed Trump, that he's a gangster and that we would like it. So what's your thoughts on this, cousin? The fact that he's going over, bullying and doing all this stuff.
You got to remember, there's just a big G check right here, cuz you could be the biggest gangster in the world. Always remember what can happen to the biggest gangsters in the world. You got to remember, it's three things can happen. So don't get too comfortable. Don't get too cocky where you feel because you in the White House, you in America, you could do anything you want. You got to remember, the same people you doing wrong is here underground. They show you this plenty of time in the movies. And the movies that, like I tell people, when we sit here and watch all these movies, we just amazed of all the actors in there. Like, oh, I see my man in there, JB Smoove, or I might see Tracy Morgan, I might see Tiffany Haddish. But you got to remember, when they do these movies, they doing these movies because of the reason. They're not telling you, they showing you what can happen, what goes on, and this is what's been going on for so long. So to me, to the American people, the people from other countries around the world, like Trump, you real talk, man, you got to lay back, man, and stop pulling your mini skirt up, man, because somebody gonna definitely try that mini skirt one day.
Well, my nervousness about this is that, I see that he is getting older very quickly. And so I think that's why he's trying to rush right now, why he thinks that he's still of sound mind. And, he's got his whole team of people hyping him up and stuff. And he is posturing towards Russia and China at the same time, because Russia and China are also using Greenland as resources. And I think it's 17 billion gallons of oil underneath Greenland as well. So this is not, and then that's in their reserve. And so this is not, this is a big thing, and so I can't ever be mad at Trump trying to get us $1 gas. Okay. I know that, what was that game? You sank my battleship. Was it Battlestar Galactica?
No, Battleship.
Battleship. That's what it was called. And so now I realize this is what we were playing. Well, remember moving the pieces over and you had to gain this and that. This is what Trump is doing. I think he's playing the game right now because
well, let me G-check this, cuz even though it's a game, just like in America, they play Monopoly. It goes on. People really play this game for real. But at the end of the day, why do people got to suffer for your game?
Well, see, and
that's a G check.
That's a G check. And this is the realness of the world. We look at the streets, right? We look at the streets and, we talk about the streets in our communities and things like this. But when we talk about the world power, right? This is the big giant streets. This is the big giant, and they're fighting. And people are fighting over territory the same way we do on the streets. And so, who is right or who is wrong? Because we got to expand our mind and our territory, as that's what they're doing. It's a big street fight, but over world power and land.
Let me G-check this, right? You said something, a street fight, right? When you always see street fights, it don't end up well. It don't matter. You could go from New York to DC, from DC to LA. You could go from Chicago to wherever, Texas. At the end of the day, sometimes it don't work for the bully. Sometimes it don't work for the gangster. And then you got to remember, everybody got a heart. As long as you got people behind you. Have that same heart when you by yourself.
Yeah, what are you doing?
That's a G check.
That's a G check. And so we're about to get out of here today. I hope you enjoyed our show today with the great Scott Pruitt from gethiphop.com. Well, I'm about to say .com, Scott. And look at how they got us so programmed from Get Hip Hop. And so again, tune in. Go get your .hip hop. Just type in get.hip hop. And we'll see you on your own site, and we'll be promoting that here. So thank you for joining us here on the New American Perspective and our G-Tech today, Scott. We look forward to working with you. We look forward to seeing you soon, and enjoy that good Florida weather while you got it, Scott.
Oh yeah, loving it.
We'll see you next week, people. It's great to see everybody.
Thank you, Butlers.
Thank you.
Thank you.